Hello everyone, and welcome to my Endless DPS Wave 30 guide, aka the Proven Assailant. I did this as a Feral Druid with an item level of 627 using heirloom gear, some drops from the Ground, and a couple random trinkets, also my legendary ring. If you have Mirror of the Blade Master, please use it. Do not use Soul Capacitor, and your class trinket is not that great here. Otherwise, I just used one of the heirloom trinkets and my alchemy trinket. Talents that are absolutely necessary for this are Incarnation, King of the Jungle, Blood Talons or Blood Claws, and you can take Wild Charge, it is useful, but I use Feline Swiftness. You need Glyph of Savage Roar, and I use Glyph of Dash. In your third slot you can also use Glyph of Cyclone, but it is not absolutely necessary. I Flasked for Agility, and I ate for Crit, and I enchanted all Critical Strike on my gear. So let's jump into it. Wave 1 is absurdly simple. There are 4 of the Amber Shapers and some rabbits in the middle. If you have Blade Master, drop it into the rabbits and run around and dot up the Amber Shapers. If you don't have Blade Master, just thrash. They will die, kind of. They're very small and with very small health pools. But Mirror of the Blade Master does make up for some of the lack of feral AoE. With the problem being that you run out of energy so quickly, and if you're looking to push further than 30, Mirror may be absolutely necessary for you to do that, because in one of the further on waves I really struggled with AoEing the rabbits down, and without Mirror it's a little bit difficult. So once you clear that, you'll want to make sure that between every wave you start it in stealth and you start it with Blood Talons up. Obviously you don't want to try and precast Savage Roar, because jumping out of stealth with a rake will do that for you. Wave 2 is, again, pretty simple. There are 2 large Mogu, an Amber Shaper that I did not mean to kill that early, and a healer. Again, you'll want to kill the healer first, interrupting any of its casts. Do not glyph your silence, your interrupt, because it is just not useful. It makes things line up kind of awkwardly. But otherwise you'll want to just kind of dot up both Mogu. They should die on their own pretty much, but just in case, finish them off. And then one of the specters will spawn. Please kill these and prioritize them above everything else, because the timer on their head supersedes the timer from the actual wave. So if that goes off first, you lose. Other than that, wave 2 is very, very easy. Again, make sure you've got your Blood Talons up, make sure that you start the wave in stealth, and you should be okay. I try and keep myself to the middle fairly frequently, and as a Worgen had 3 run speed increases, which was nice. This is another wave you'll definitely want to pop your Mirror in if you have it. But if not, thrash up everything, focus down those monkeys that are annoying as heck. You can stun them, just a word to the wise. So Mighty Bash is probably fairly useful in doing this as well. But once the monkeys are dead, come back. Most of the rabbits should have died, and they definitely probably would have died if you had Mirror. But if not, you can single target them down. This is a bit slow, but you do have plenty of time, so don't feel too stressed. But in later waves, again, if you're trying to push further than 30, it may be absolutely necessary for that particular wave to have Mirror of the Blade Master, just because, as you saw at the end there, Feral really runs out of steam, AoE, which is a little bit disappointing. But jump back into stealth, get ready for wave 4. This is a wave you'll want to pop your legendary ring on immediately. Again, I started kind of stupidly by burning down that Amber Shaper, but it did not matter, at least for wave 24. It may matter in further waves. Then just run around and dot up every single one of the Mogu. Make sure your ring blows up on one of them, just because you don't really want to waste its proc. And then they should be fairly simple to finish off after that. In this wave, there are more specters that spawn in the middle, and again, if you haven't downed the Mogu, this is why it's so important to dot them up, because your dots will rot them down, but if you haven't dotted them up, you will definitely want to focus down that specter first, even if they haven't died. but the dots will again drop them down very slowly. That is the only spectre on this wave, and you can move into wave 5. Wave 5 begins with the healer, which you'll want to focus down, and then there's a monkey that you need to catch. Wild Charge probably would have been useful here, but I could just pop my roar. It was all good. You will want to start burning down the Shah as soon as possible, even with its shield up. You can see that little grey shield ticking down on its debuffs. This makes it take significantly less damage from your attacks, but as you can see, it still does take some damage. So, it's definitely worth beating on it. But when that shield falls off, and after you've killed this very important spectre, you will want to pop Incarnation and Berserk. There's no reason not to. So you pop those, and wham bam thank you ma'am, it starts going down very, very quickly. And this wave should pose no problem to you at all, especially with both those cooldowns. Bonus is that you will still have Incarnation up for the beginning of the next wave. As Feral doesn't have a crazy reliable CC, you want to start killing these rabbits first until both heals have been cast. Once they're casting, pick a healer and focus it down. You'll be able to kill it before it casts its next heal. Once that's done, as you run through the rabbits, you can hit them up again, depending on how much energy you use. I just had my swipe. Thrash went off too. This particular healer will get a cast off, or try to. You'll want to interrupt that as quickly as possible. And again, you should be able to finish it off after that without any kind of hassle. For this wave, if you have Mirror, it would be another good place to pop it. But again, do not start attacking the healers until both of them have healed, because they'll focus the smallest, with the lowest health pool, sorry. And as long as it's not each other, those rabbits really don't take much to burn down. Wave 7, you'll want to grab a Berserker buff immediately, rip up that rabbit, and then dot up every single one of these large Mogu. I actually chose to burn this one down first, and then dot up the Amber Shaper on my way. But yeah, the best way to do this is probably just to try and dot them up in a line first, and then hit them with the Amber Traps. I actually thought right there I had got caught, which was a bit scary, but I was fine. Again, another time Wild Charge might be useful, but Dash gets you there from point A to point B. Just be careful not to hit that other Berserker buff, because you will need that in the very near future. So with the end of that, get prepared for Wave 8. Again with your Blood Talons, and again with starting in Stealth. Wave 8 was actually a wave that I found a little bit tricky. Just because you'll want to make sure you start off in a position where you can hit that very first Ripper, and make sure you get that interrupt, which I did not. Then you'll want to try and burn down the further Ripper while the other one rots away. Try and start with the back one, which is a small, and then make sure you kill the large. Your ring should blow up on that Spectre, as you just saw, and it'll one-shot it because it's just a small one, and your ring does lots of damage. There will be 2 more Spectres that spawn, very close to one another, as you see, and so just focus them down. They don't have very much health. I got a little bit panicky on this one. But as you can see, you do have more time than you think, you just don't realize it at the time. But that's fine. Wave 9 is where you're going to use your remaining Berserker buff, but not immediately. Or, well, actually immediately, my bad. But start in Stealth, pick it up. Again, burn down the monkey that spawns in the middle. Run around and dot everything up. Because again, your dots will just rot everything down, and it's very, very useful. And then try and make the best of the Berserker buff. You can use the Amber Globules as you see, and again, everything dies fairly quickly. I did mess up on this wave. I actually got hit, and the final Spectre spawned, but thankfully I had enough time to burn it down. You do not want to do this. I do not advise it at all. But luckily I was able to push out enough damage to push on to wave 30, which is the easiest in the whole world. So you'll wait a minute. All that spawns in this next wave is a large illusionary shard. You'll want to start again in stealth and just start hitting on it as soon as you can. You'll want to burn it down as much as possible, and then when its shield falls off, you can pop everything. Your ring, Berserker, Incarnation. I chose to use Tiger's Fury on cooldown just because I got sick of not having abilities to hit. But once you complete this particular wave, which should be fairly simple, you will either continue on using this exact same strategy, or you can just let the next wave tick down and get your Proven Assailant title, which will be taken away in Legion. So I hope this guide helped you. If anyone has any further tips or tricks, please leave them in the comments. I love to read them. Otherwise, good luck, and goodbye. Thank you for watching.